I know you mentioned that you said that you weren't sure if you wanted to play Ryle until a conversation with Colleen. What did she say that convinced you?
Well, early on, when I first read the book, I had an assistant at the time who said, you should play Ryle. And I think we all have these moments where, you read something or you have a dream about something, and then that voice inside shows up and it's like, oh, you could never do it, or you're not good enough, or you know what, a better actor should play that role. So I think that deep down I always wanted to try, but I was afraid. And I didn't let myself dream or think that I could do it, and I would never want to ever harm the movie and harm this book. And then Colleen sent me an email just before we closed her option agreement. It was a very short email, and it said, have you ever thought about acting in the project? Ryle, perhaps? I could see it. And I think that email and her believing in me gave me permission to believe in myself. And then, I thought long and hard about it. I had conversations with my wife. And 2 years later, in the development process, is when I decided, okay, I'm gonna do it. But I wanted it to be truthful. I wanted it to be honest. And he's a very complex, dark character that has a lot of pain. And I just don't know if I was ready to go there at the time.
For sure, and I know, of course, the movie and the book deals with some pretty heavy topics. What was the most challenging scene for you to either work through yourself or work through as a director?
I think all of the scenes showcasing gender-based violence, I think that was very hard for me. I almost had to step out of my body. There were a lot of times, even thinking about it is hard. There were a lot of times where I would have to go privately into a room and just cry or shake it out and try to get him out of me and that energy out of me, because it's too real. And there are too many people that are the real life Lily Blooms of the world that have to deal with that every single day. And I wanted it to be as real as possible, and yet it was very hard to shoot those scenes. But luckily, the only way it was possible is, I had an incredible intimacy coordinator, I had an incredible stunt coordinator, both of them were women. And then there was Blake, who honestly, between those three women, they really were the ones choreographing and navigating all of those scenes, because I needed to play Ryle. And in those moments, to be perfectly frank, I really wasn't the director. It was those women that were in charge. And from the beginning, I wanted all the intimate scenes to be from a female gaze, and I never wanted my bias to potentially, interject and go into the film. So I kind of stepped back and felt all the things and allowed myself to do the work, and shook it off as best I could.